It's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another live, man. I hope everybody's having a great night tonight. We got a lot to talk about, man. Y'all been hitting me up to come live, so I decided I had a little time tonight, man. Celebrated with the wife, and I'm just chilling right now, man. So I decided to go live. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Hype the video if you can. And yeah, man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Shout out y'all city. Shout out y'all state. Grab y'all a glass and happy Valentine's Day to the beautiful couples out there, man. Everybody, man, smash that like button. And we going to talk about Shedeur, Sanders, and the Browns today, man. Hopefully you guys kind of interact with me tonight, kind of make the live a little bit more fun. We all shoot messages and interact, man. But with that being said, dude, we got to talk about the current state of the Browns, man. We seeing a crazy narrative being played out throughout the media these last couple weeks, man. It pretty much started when Shedeur really was announced to be going to the Pro Bowl. We've been seeing a lot of people kind of, ish on Shedeur, man. And it's just very unfortunate, man, the way the media try to sabotage him in his own city that he's playing for. Shout out to Atlanta in the building. Shout out to you, Don. I see you down there. Shout out to Delaware in the building. I see you. Who else in here? Come on, y'all. Where them cities at? Where them cities at? Where the cities at down there? We got 64 people in the building. What's up with you? What's up? What's up? What's up? I see you. What's the deal? Smash that like button, man. Shout out y'all city. Shout out y'all state. We got Ohio in the building. What's good? Is you in Cleveland? We got Ohio down there. Who else? Who else in the building? All is well. Is that Massachusetts or Maryland? One of them. One of them. San Antonio, Texas in the building. Alabama in the building. Bama. Somebody said the haters, they have no choice but to love them. At this point, they got to love them, but we finna talk about it all. We got Orlando in the building. Shout out to Orlando. Oklahoma in the building. Who else in here? Who else in here? Cleveland in the building. Georgia in the building. Who else in the building? Shout out y'all city, man. Shout out y'all state. Make sure y'all hit the like button whenever y'all get into the chat, man. We finna have some fun tonight, man. Massachusetts. See, I was right. It was Massachusetts. Who else in the building? We got 101 people in here. Shout out y'all city. Shout out y'all state. Let me know. Orlando, Florida in the building. Delaware in the building. Detroit in the building. 313. Who else in here? Georgia. We got Georgia in the building. That's 2 in Georgia. Seattle in the building. Wilmington, North Carolina in the building. Blessings to you, brother. 216 in the building. What's up with you, David? I see you. Who else in the building, man? B4, South Carolina in the building. Used to losing anything else, they refuse to accept it. They're going to have to accept it. Mr. Lee for love. Been rocking out with me for a mighty long time. Hey, Mr. Lee, you was original family member, dog. He ain't never switched up on me. He been here with me the whole 4 years. Shout out to Mr. Lee, man. I love you, dog. We got 229 in the building. Jacksonville, Florida in the building. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody and all the couples out there. Cleveland, Ohio in the building. We got Pensacola, Florida in the building. Detroit in the building. Georgia 912 in the building. Come on, it's 119 people in here. Where them cities at? Where them states at? Let me know where y'all checking in from before we kick this thing off. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. Let me know. Let me know. Come on, y'all. Let me know. We got Jersey City, New Jersey in the building. 619 San Diego in the building. Savannah, Georgia. Shout out to all my family that live in Savannah. LOL, I'm a sister. LOL. In the building. Who else out here, man? 125. We steady going up. Who in the building? Let me know y'all city and y'all state, man. And make sure y'all grab y'all a glass. I'm drinking some water with a little protein in it. JTL, you in the building? I'm definitely in the building, man. We finna have some fun tonight. We rocking this thing. Hey, look. The party just getting started, y'all. Y'all already know the vibes. East side of Chicago. I was just in Chicago about 3 weeks ago. Charles Water, Fayetteville, Florida in the building. Maryland in the building. Here for number 12. You know the vibes. Well, hold on. Here for who? Here for who? Number 12, Maryland. 513 in the building, 137. Shout out them cities. Shout out them states. Let me know where y'all checking in from before we get this live started. This is a little tradition that I do. If you know, you know. We got Cleveland, Ohio in the building. Tara says she got her glass in the building. Hold on. We got somebody from my state in the building. I live in Horrendo, Mississippi. Oh, no, that's Mississippi. Shout out to Mr. Lee, Southtown of Memphis. I'm having some green tea. Shout out to Memphis, man. I was in Memphis in September. That's where I got my vet from. Memphis. Shout out to Memphis. Smash that like button. Barry have been telling us all along. Hey, look, that's what we finna talk about. We finna talk about Andrew Berry first. Then we gonna talk about what's going on in Atlanta. Because Atlanta looking spooky. You feel me? But we have to talk about the narrative that is being painted about Shedeur Sanders. And just like I stated at the first part of this live, all of this happened right around the Pro Bowl, bro. Like, I don't know, like, is it me or is y'all noticing a trend in the media? Because it seems like every time Shedeur does something successful or something great surrounding the young man, we get crazy news to come out of Cleveland. Now, he had the Pro Bowl. He did very well. And then information started coming out about his rookie numbers compared to who? Super Bowl quarterback Drake May. Now, Shedeur outperformed Drake May playing teams over 500. But ain't nobody talking about that. Ain't nobody talking about that, but we gonna talk about that. But we have to talk about the media, right? Because I'm a type of person, I pay attention to the detail. And if the detail ain't looking right, I'ma say something. You know, I'm just one of them type of dudes. I ain't finna sit here and let the buffoonery keep going on without saying something. Because to me, if you don't say nothing, you just as bad as the people doing it, bruh. For real. Because people got to speak up, bruh. Central Texas in the building. Savannah in the building. Hold on. How we looking spooky? Y'all looking spooky, dog. The media looking spooky because now they talking about getting veteran quarterback Russell Wilson. That was a thing. Malik Willis has been a thing. Everybody been talking about this whole Malik Willis thing. Do we need to go over something? But I'm gonna pull up the Malik Willis situation right now. Since you know Malik Willis is steady being tied to the Browns, you know, but then we had the president of the Haslam Sports, and I was the only one that reported on that, come out here to kind of defend the Haslams, because I don't know if the Haslams in on this, but it's being tied to them. And by it being tied to them, it make it look like it is them. You feel me? It make it look like it is them when it's talking about, you know, getting Russell Wilson, Malik Willis, potentially Mendoza. All these different quarterbacks is being connected to y'all organization. Is this why Andrew Berry just did another damn interview? Because we heard what Myles Garrett said during the Pro Bowl. Well, as of right now, it's it. It's his job to keep. 24 hours later, $20 million quarterback Miles Willis is being connected to the Browns. What? After we just heard, and then let me not forget to mention Deshaun Watson being connected to everything. All of a sudden, Deshaun Watson looked like he could be the guy. All of a sudden, they all like, well, Ty Monkey came here for Deshaun Watson. For real, for real. What? Is that credible? Because is it me, or have I not seen a Todd Monken and Deshaun Watson interaction video? I haven't seen Todd Monken and Deshaun Watson in the same video or the same room since he been named the coach. But we got people saying that Deshaun Watson is about to be the guy. Hold on. How the hell is Deshaun Watson about to be the guy when Myles Garrett just said he was the guy? But this all boiled back to when Todd Monkey came, grabbed on my young brother, said, "We tried to draft your ass. I don't know what happened, but we're going to talk about it." When he said that, that's when we start seeing all these crazy narratives, all these different things coming out. Because here, look, bro, I got to keep it real. I want to believe in the Cleveland media because that's all we got. I'm not going to get no media pass. I don't want no media pass. I like to be a free agent, do what I do. I don't want to be controlled by no big machine. Could I get a media pass? Yes, I very much could. Do I want one? No, because I like being my own boss. I like coming to work with big ass chains on and say what I want to say on my microphone. I ain't no. No, you ain't finna mute me. So this is what we got. Now, could it benefit us to believe some of the stuff? Yes, it could benefit us tremendously. But as of right now, you got one person saying this, another person saying that, and we can't go off of it, man. But let's jump into this thing, man. Let's pull up something I showed y'all the other day in a video. Now, this right here is very, very important with what I'm showing y'all, right? This is reliable information, right? Because Hova 76 on Twitter, he did his homework. You know, I like people that do their homework and pull up the resume. Now, I want to read this to y'all. It stated, as a senior at Liberty, Malik Willis threw for 2,800 yards and 27 touchdowns while completing 60% of his passes, right? At Liberty. He was playing against North Texas and Eastern Michigan. As a senior in the Big 12, Shedeur Sanders threw for 4,100 yards and 37 touchdowns while completing 74% of his passes. Why is this young man a fifth-round quarterback? Why is Shedeur a fifth-round quarterback? He threw 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns while completing 74% of his passes. And we're sitting here saying that it might be other quarterbacks that is better than Shedeur right now in free agency and coming into this draft. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the media people just don't like Shedeur because he's flamboyant, because he's confident, because he's a highly intelligent young brother. But it ain't looking good, bruh, for these people, man. Because every week, man, like last live, I say, y'all, look, we got to start supporting Cleveland, the team, maybe some of the media, because I don't want to be the guy that's looked upon as a villain. I don't want to be a villain. I want to be cool with everybody. Just keep it 100 with me. Keep it a stack with me. Don't be flip-flop with me, because I'm from the show me state, and I'm going to show you something when you flip-flop with me, bruh. Don't be flip-flop over here, bruh. Because we ain't never been flip-flop when it comes to Shedeur, bruh. For real. Don't be like that. Don't be when he doing good. Y'all want to say he doing great, but just a week ago, you were saying that we should get Malik Willis. Don't be like that, dog. Because now it's hard to support the team. How can we support the team if y'all can't support our guy? Shedeur, our guy. He been our guy. This ain't nothing new. He our guy. If you know, you know. If you don't know, well, then you need to find out. Because it seemed like y'all ain't trying to find out, figure out nothing. Y'all build them up, turn down. Build them up, turn down. Y'all got Shedeur looking like he a walking Lego set. We going to assemble him. We going to hype him up. Then we just going to turn him down. Boom. What are we doing? I thought this was supposed to be a city he played in. I thought this is supposed to be a city he played in. Somebody said people just love to hate. Black is real and land the hate. Oh, and they hate it. I say it like this. People hate a confident black man. A confident black man is the most feared thing probably in the country. A confident black man. I don't know why. I don't know why people hate a confident brother. But I tell you one thing, they gonna find out. You know, people gonna find out. See, this kind of remind me of, I want y'all to take a moment and think about this. Who all remember Tim McCarver? Now, Tim McCarver played for my St. Louis Cardinals. Tim McCarver did. He played here in my city of St. Louis, right? Well, Tim McCarver, after his baseball career, he became an analyst, I believe, for CBS, NBC, one of those networks in the early 90s, right? Well, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, he was a baseball player. Now, Deion was flamboyant. Deion, he was all over the place. Put yourself back in those days. Now, Deion used to get criticized so much by Tim McCarver. Tim McCarver just did not like Deion for whatever case it may be. Deion got tired of Tim McCarver. And one day, he put some ice in a bucket, and it was on site. It was on site. Now, I'm not telling Shedeur to do any of these things. But just like he called out Tony Grossi, because the Tony Grossi situation is very similar to the Tim McCarver situation. He say, man, why you be saying that about me, bro? He said, I don't know. I don't know. It's the same thing. Only thing is, he didn't come with a bucket of ice. He just simply asked him as a man, bro, why you be saying that about me? Now, I want to be a person to sit here and ask these questions to these media people. Because if I ever see him when I go to these games next year in Cleveland, I'm going to ask. I'm going to have a long sheet. Bruh, why you say that about Shedeur, bruh? Huh? Why y'all put that out there about Shedeur? See, it's one thing to clickbait a title, but to go into the content of it and try to change the young man character, it's beyond me. This is beyond me. Because, see, it's a thing in media where people try to be first. See, this is not about being first with a story. What did Don say? This is about misinformation. There's so much misinformation coming out of Cleveland, it's really hard to track the news. See, but that's why we got to come together like this as a congregation, and we gonna have some dialogue about this misinformation coming out, because it's hurting the brand, I feel like, of the fans. We have a brand too. You feel me? We have a brand to uphold too. Because we want to look to y'all as being accurate, correct, and coming through with facts. And the fact of the matter is, y'all don't be having no damn facts. Y'all just want to make up stories. Am I lying? Don't they do that? Because I think they do that a lot. A lot. But let's finish reading this tweet right here, man, before we get into this Andrew Berry thing, because I have not seen none of this interview with Andrew Berry, y'all. I ain't seen none of it at all. So I am very interested to see what Andrew Berry had to say about Shedeur Sanders. I've been seeing it pop up all over social media, this interview that he did, and excited about it, man. I want to see it. And let's finish reading this real quick before we react to this interview. Now, as a rookie third-round draft pick in the NFL, Malik Willis had 3 starts. Here are his stats for these 3 starts, y'all. He went 6 of 10 for 55 yards, 1 interception, 0 touchdowns. He went 5 of 16 for 80 yards, 0 interceptions, 0 damn me touchdowns. Third start, he went 16 of 25, 135 yards, 0 interceptions, and 0 damn touchdowns. Need to say more? Should we say more? Malik Willis has started a total of 6 NFL games. He sucked in 5 out of the 6 games. Now, he had 1 big game for the Packers last season. Now the Cleveland media, Cleveland who media, is pushing the idea of signing him to a $15 to $20 million contract. Now, these are facts. These are facts. Now, those are facts. Now, Hova didn't say that the Browns organization is the Cleveland media. This live isn't being designed to attack the Cleveland media. This live is just being made to expose the buffoonery in Cleveland media. You know, because it's a lot of buffoonery. And I ain't gonna name drop nobody. I ain't gonna do none of that. If you know, you know. Y'all watch it just like how I watch it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know who I'm talking about and who I'm not talking about. But y'all know the real ones from the fake ones. Now, everybody in Cleveland ain't fake. Everybody in Cleveland don't put out misinformation. So this don't apply to all Cleveland media. But there's more negative reporters than positive reporters. I can tell you that. Which is pretty crazy to me if you got a strong quarterback in your city that's generating the revenue, but more important, that don't get talked about enough. It's not just the revenue, the economic impact Shedeur Sanders is going to have on the city of Cleveland to pay for that damn new stadium is going to be box office. That $2.3 billion stadium that y'all finna get, that's 10 miles outside of downtown Cleveland, is 10 miles outside that stadium that y'all finna get. Guess who finna pay for that stadium y'all finna get? Shedeur Sanders. So for the man that's finna drive fans, economic impact that he's going to have in y'all city, you would think he'll be held to a higher standard. But I guess if your last name Sanders, that don't apply to you, which is crazy to me. I don't know what the situation may be with the city of Cleveland and Shedeur Sanders, but to me, Stevie Wonder can see there's an issue. There is an issue that certain members of the media have with Shedeur Sanders being their quarterback. Now, the first thing somebody gonna say is it race. I don't think it's race. They didn't have black quarterbacks before, but they never had a impactful quarterback. They never had a quarterback that stand for something. See, when it comes to Shedeur, Coach Prime, the Sanders family, they stand for something. People are not just here being a cult, as y'all call it. This ain't cult behavior. There's a standard behind it. God first. Respect thyself. Respect all. Don't tolerate no disrespect. See, there's a standard that comes with the Sanders. And if you understand that standard, that's probably why you support so hard. Because there has been an agenda put before not just Shedeur, but the entire family, to highlight these young black brothers led by a powerful black father. And the media want to tear that down because that said father put his sons in position to be successful. Not just his sons, all his kids, as a black father, to be successful. So no, I don't think Cleveland is racist. I think Cleveland don't like powerful black families. That's what I believe. Shedeur and the Sanders has a lot of power. They could change a culture, move, shift a whole organization. They don't like the power. Not only do they got the power, they got enough impact to where if something was to have happen to Cleveland, bad or in the media to Shedeur, or some come out too hard, thousands. When I tell you thousands will pull up to Cleveland like it's the first and the third food stamp day. I ain't lying. They gonna pull up to Cleveland like it's the first and the third. That's what they don't like. See, that's what they don't like. See, when Coach Prime went to Colorado, I was there. I witnessed it. Thousands of brothers and sisters coming to Colorado. Do y'all know the race of Black Americans in Boulder, Colorado is 1%? 1%. Y'all understand that, right? We got a super chat. Hold on, let me stop. Shout out to you for the super chat. He stated they don't understand that many of the unks and aunties are saved, praying people. That's why 12 is overcoming. Yes, prayer is powerful. Prayer is very powerful. But going back to the Boulder thing, right? The population of African Americans in Boulder, Colorado at the time was 1%. Colorado University didn't really have like a black enrollment. See, when Coach Prime got there, that was filled in the stadiums, none but brothers and sisters. Now, some of the people was very welcoming in Colorado. Then again, some of the people wasn't. They'll ask you, what's the fight song? Do you even know the fight song? We don't know no damn fight song. Look, I'm going to tell you what song we know. It must be the money. It's really going on. Must be. That's what we know. But we bought a ticket. We coming to support. Now, shifting gears back to Cleveland. Cleveland ain't like that. Cleveland got a lot of brothers and sisters. See, but what's bothering me is that it's people in the media that is trying to paint a narrative about Shedeur that a lot of brothers and sisters might not know. Because we got to remember, everybody in Ohio ain't Colorado fans. See, it's two different fan bases here. They like Ohio State. They ain't really rocking out with the Buffaloes, bro. I'm going to keep it real. So a lot of them may not be familiar with how Shedeur get down. Cool. That's cool. But y'all got to listen to the right people that's been here. Not somebody that's going to do one of these. Look at this paper. Well, fell here, dropped there, fell there, dropped there. No, y'all can't go off that. See, y'all got to go off somebody that's been here and you could trust to get your information from. Because it ain't just Shedeur got an aura behind him. This thing goes back to principle, standing for something. Because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. But you got to stand for something first. See, that's what makes the Sanders so powerful, man. They stand for something: brotherhood, fatherhood, loving thy neighbor. See, those confidence traits, that is what they don't like. See, the media wants Shedeur to supposedly get out of character. He don't have a character. This is who he is. That's why they ask some dumbass questions at the podium. So how do you feel about Kevin Stefanski getting fired and not being a coach? Why would you ask him that? Do you think that you're going to be QB1? He don't care. Why would you ask him that? See, they want to do everything in their power to tear that man down. Because, once again, y'all, he comes from a powerful black family that stands for something. Every time black people got something positive going on, they're going to try to find every negative thing to derail the positivity. Am I lying? This has been going on for centuries. Centuries. Every time it's a black family or a black person with positivity, they want to tear him down. Because black people in their eyes ain't supposed to be positive. You ain't supposed to be confident. You supposed to be, help me. I need your help. What can you do for me to make me a better black man? No, see, he ain't getting down like that, bruh. We don't need no food stamps, welfare, Section 8. They don't need none of that. You ain't heard Shedeur Sanders say, yeah, it would have been nice to have the 40 million, but I'm good. Oh, they didn't like that. They didn't like that. Just like they didn't like Shedeur didn't have a C8. He had an F8, black badge, Lamborghini truck, Tesla truck, Cyber truck in college. Shedeur probably had $4 million worth of cars in college. It would have been nice to get the 40 million, but do you think he really cared? Damn, man, I thought it's cool. Still wearing a $500,000 chain around his neck. He didn't care about the money. It was the principle. But that's another situation of them trying to attack a positive black man. That's what bothering me with the media, with Cleveland, with all these people, man. They try to change the narrative because he's a positive black man. And it's sad because this has been going on since Black Wall Street, bro. I see the video. Shout out to my guy, Black Car Guru. See, back in the days, Cadillac was about to be folded during the Great Depression. They couldn't sell Cadillacs to black people during those times in the 30s. Black people couldn't buy nothing. They couldn't sell black people anything. But Cadillac said, well, hell, we ain't finna go bankrupt anymore. We're going to sell cars to black people. So really, black people saved Cadillac. Just like Shedeur is about to save Cleveland Browns franchise and make sure they get that $2.3 billion stadium. So instead of y'all turn down Shedeur, y'all should look at Shedeur like a savior. Like a savior to y'all NFL franchise. The Browns is the most talked about NFL team out of all the damn teams. Bro, Seattle just won the Super Bowl. And we're talking about Malik Willis starting over Shedeur. Deshaun Watson, 2 torn Achilles, starting over Shedeur. And I'm seeing a trend here because it's looking that way. So whatever these people have in plan, you know what? No weapon formed against this young man shall prosper, bro. It's just that simple. To me, you know what I'm saying? From what I've been looking at and what I've been seeing, bro, it's just like, I don't know. It's just kind of hard to trust the Cleveland media, man. But let's dive into this Andrew Berry interview because I have not seen it at all. Let me blow it up for y'all real quick. Deshaun Watson is black too, though. Bro, you must just got to the live. It wasn't about race. It's not about the race thing. You knew. You wasn't listening. It's not about the race. It is and it ain't. I say it like it's about a confident black man coming from a confident black family that's powerful. That's what this is about. This is about a black family that has power like 50. They don't like that. That's what this is about. Now, I have not seen this Andrew Berry interview, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't seen it. But I'm finna check it out. But let's listen to it. Let's play.
And Todd Monken is now the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Let's take a step back to when you knew you were going to lead this process to find the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. What was that like for you, and what did you want to accomplish from a process standpoint to get to the right answer?
I think the biggest thing is, if you're hiring a head coach in the NFL, if you were to translate that in the business or corporate world, you're hiring either like a CEO or a COO. And it's a highly compensated, highly impactful role within the entire organization. And you want to give it the amount of dedicated thought in terms of how an individual skill set matches with the strategy of the organization. So for us, the biggest thing was, after figuring out where we were and where we wanted to be, is maintaining a very open mind. Great coaches come in different shapes, sizes, backgrounds, you name it. And ultimately, you're trying to find an individual whose strengths align with what your organization needs in the moment. So we wanted to design a process that allowed us to cast a wide net and ultimately narrow it to the candidates that we felt fit what we were trying to accomplish over the next few years.
And I think let's talk guys on the offensive side. Your two final candidates were very different. You have one guy who has more time coaching, 37 years, and Todd Monken, now the head coach of Cleveland Browns, than Nate Shieldhouse had been alive. Mm-hmm. And how did you kind of weigh those two things, and then what allowed, at the end of the day, Todd to be, as you said earlier, head and shoulders above everybody else?
I guess maybe I'd make one clarification, Nate. I know that there's been a lot of focus on the external candidates at the end. They were our two final external candidates, but sure, we also had a very fine internal candidate in Jim Schwartz, who was in that group, and he didn't have an offensive background. So I think that's actually a really good example of the diversity in backgrounds, but they all could fit the mold. Nate, pro and college background, had been 2 years in the NFL, really young, had learned under Sean McVay, had been a play caller, youth pastor. Todd, super diverse, adaptable offenses, pro and college, worked under John Harbaugh, Kirby Smart, really good with young player development. And then we all know Jim, strong leader, former head coach, defensive savant, really well respected by players, and global knowledge of football, so he knows offense, defense, and the kicking game. We felt like we had a really strong mix, of the candidates of the final day. With Todd, we loved just his performance track record, what we heard about him with young players. His offensive track record was quite honestly like unprecedented in terms of being on the open market. Pro, college, mobile quarterbacks, limited quarterbacks, star quarterbacks, air raid system, power run game. It's very rare that you can find a coach that doesn't have a system, but is truly fluid in adapting it to the personnel.
So you had to feel good when you went through the three final candidates. You felt like, okay, we're in a really good spot now, and now it's kind of sifting through and getting that answer, and that answer was Todd. You've talked a lot already this offseason about kind of redoing the offense, or putting a lot of investment into the offensive side of the football. How important, kind of as you went through this, was that shared vision of, here's what the coaching candidate, or in this case, what the coach Todd thinks, versus what we think, and how we're going to kind of get that onto the same page and be collaborative to get to that right answer?
I would probably make a comparison to maybe where we were coming out of the 2020 season, where in 2020 when we got here, our biggest priority was surrounding, our young quarterback Baker Mayfield at the time with as much as possible to make sure that the offense could get off the ground. Now, we had a very patchwork defense at the time, and going into 21, it was obvious to anyone who had any, two eyes watching football where our investments would be. I think we're in a similar spot here, just with the opposite sides of the ball. So that, question is less candidate specific. Anyone we talk to understood that made the most sense. So there was probably very little time in terms of like, okay, where are we actually going to invest our resources this offseason?
How much is it in terms of when you collaborate with a coach, what they're looking for at each position? You know, here are the traits I really like in receivers. And granted, there are very few receivers that have all of those traits. So you try to get maybe one guy that's got all of that stuff, and then good route runners or the vertical speed or tough, contested catches. How is that is that something that you talk about in this process, or is that now that he's here, now we're really talking about, okay, what we're looking for?
Yeah, it probably starts with more of a macro playing philosophy. You know, obviously with Todd's track record, there's a fair amount of flexibility, which naturally expands the player pool for you. With other candidates, they have a very specific system that has like some level of, malleability built in within it, where you may have to talk a little bit more detail on some critical positions, but it's really more from a global philosophical standpoint that you have those discussions, and then once you get into the seat, you may drill down with more specificity as you're actually entering the player acquisition cycle.
When you talked about, this is going to be a young roster, and there's going to be a lot of turnover, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and an infusion of young talent. When you have somebody who's been, coach for 37 years, and you heard him talk about since he was 5, he's been a part of a team, and all he's wanted to do is be a head coach. How helpful is that to have somebody with that breadth of experience, not just in the NFL, but at college, where he turned a program around at Southern Miss, but then most recently
That is a great question. He said, what are resources going behind 12? Pay attention. Hold on, wait a minute. You on to something there, Legendary. Because he did say, hey, they put that bag behind Baker Mayfield to make sure he had the right resources he needed to be successful. I'm listening. Oh, I'm hella listening. He definitely said that, dog. Where is them resources at for Shedeur? Because this is going to be the year we find out. With the draft selection that they get, free agency, we gonna find out if Shedeur Sanders is the top priority based on that. That was an excellent question. Legendary Kennels. Hella legendary, bro. Good question.
Georgia, which
this is a very important picture here. Because many in this picture, well, really one person in this picture, y'all see this guy right here on the end? This guy right here. He is the president of Haslam Sports. This gentleman right here. I forget his name. This gentleman right here is the man with the plan. He runs everything from my research. We're going to be talking a lot about him. We know Andrew Berry, but this dude right here with this look like Tom Ford suit on and that Rolly, he the man. He's very important. That man on the end there. I believe these are Jimmy Haslam kids here. I believe so. That's his son. But that man on the end there, he the
26
man.
and beyond to look, to feel, and for our fans to be able to maybe feel some of that before we actually get to see them.
Yeah, I think those are conversations that you have during the interview process because and we talk a lot about alignment here. You want to be aligned on that coming into it, as opposed to adopting one way or the other.
Sure.
And look, like I think with good people, good football people, there's a fair amount of overlap with what people want to see. In terms of like the impatience of seeing the team before the grass, honestly, we have a lot of work to do. So like, we'll take the time, and then once the weather gets a little bit better and we get to May and can hit the ground running, I'm sure we'll be pleased with what we see.
All right, so now you've got Todd. You guys are ready to get going. What's kind of the message to the fans? You've talked about kind of where this team is, but listen, everybody wants winning football. What's kind of your message to the fans about what they can expect over the next few months? We talked about that critical 120 days, right, Jimmy? Talked about to getting this team ready to be on the grass and get playing this fall.
Yeah, I think it's really two things. I think in the immediate term, we're going to hire the best coaching staff that we possibly can. Todd mentioned earlier today, it's not just about one person, but it's about the players and the staff that you put around your central decision makers. We're looking forward to investing in this offensive roster and the amount of flexibility that we're provided both from a resource standpoint and due to Todd's background, we're excited about the different possibilities and the different avenues we can go. And a lot of what we think through and what we talk through will be reflective of that.
Well, thank you for the time and good luck. I know this is an exciting, very busy time for you, and let's go.
All right. Thanks, Nate.
Now, I've been hearing a lot about this damn interview, and I ain't heard him confirm that Shedeur gonna be the starter, bro. Am I tripping? Because I don't think I'm tripping, bro. People been saying that he said that Shedeur gonna be the starter for sure, bro. I ain't heard him say that. Nor did I hear him say that they're going to put together resources for Shedeur to be successful. In this interview, I didn't hear him say that.
Specific system that.
I didn't hear Andrew Berry say that, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. And to me, I don't know. Maybe the Cleveland media is right. Because I'm not hearing anything definitively stating that Shedeur is gonna be the quarterback. He doesn't have to. What is y'all saying in the chat? They know 12 is different. He's a natural born leader. Look how difficult the team looked with him on the field. See, Shedeur is a leader, bro. That's like the team believe in him. You feel me? So once he got that confidence of the team, everything else was over with. So we just got to take that with a grain of salt. Now, hold up. Mary Kay said something again. This just came out 40 minutes ago. Let's read this right here. It stated Mary Kay believes Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders will battle for QB1. I think right now that it would probably be 40% for Shedeur, 40% for Deshaun Watson, and 20% for someone else. So not only is she confirming that Dylan Gabriel is gone, or don't believe Dylan Gabriel to be the third string quarterback, she goes on to say, so I think those two guys heading into this whole thing are probably kind of running neck and neck, Mary Kay stated on Orange Talk. When the hell did Mary Kay say this? Because I really need to hear this, bro. Because this is what I'm saying. See, this is what I'm telling y'all they doing. How the hell is Deshaun Watson 80%? Well, it's 40 and 40, bro. How is it 40 and 40? You feel me? How is it 40-40? Hold on. So, y'all, I just tracked down the audio. Hold up, wait a minute. I don't think he's saying it without saying it. As much as I want to believe that, I can't him haul and hold on to that. So this is the audio from Mary Kay today. Let's listen.
Guys have had very small sample sizes. They've had small sample sizes, and they've gone and signed someplace for big money, big-ish money, and it hasn't worked. Other times it has. It would be a risk, but do you think the Browns will end up being in on Malik Willis when we're a week and a half away from the combine, so this stuff's really going to get going here.
Y'all see what
I'm
talking
about? The Browns
about?
are going to be in on Malik Willis when the time comes.
Well, I think they will inquire about him. I think they'll ask about him. I think they'll have a conversation about him. They will probably reach out to his agent, who also just so happens to be, and I wrote this in my Deshaun Watson story for today, he also happens to be the agent for Deshaun Watson. And we all know that Deshaun Watson is trying to get his career back on track here. So I don't know how that will factor into the whole thing, but I do think it's something to at least discuss and think about. I have also been told that the Miami Dolphins will probably have the inside track to land Malik Willis. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I think that we have to keep an eye out for that. I certainly would be tossing my hat into the ring for Malik Willis because we know that Todd Monken likes a dual threat quarterback, and Malik Willis fits the bill. And now he's been around for a while. He was drafted in, was it 2022? Yes, it was 2022, the same year that Kenny Pickett was drafted in the first round by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think some people were surprised that they didn't opt for Malik Willis in that draft. They went for Kenny Pickett instead. Went 0 for 1 in his start, but he completed 85.7% of his passes. He had 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he showed that dual threat ability. And we know that's what Todd Monken really likes and values. That's what Malik Willis is. He's someone very much like a Lamar Jackson. He's in that mold, not at that level, but in that mold. And so you know that Todd Monken would do a really nice job on coaching Malik Willis. He can handle that.
Y'all
and if
see
you're
what I'm
going
talking
to
about?
acquire a guy like that, you need a coach who can handle him. And Todd
Mary Kay is the leading reporter for the Cleveland Browns. Now, judging off this audio so far, does it sound like she wants Shedeur to be the quarterback? Because to me, it does not sound that way. It doesn't sound like she wants Shedeur to be the quarterback. This is crazy, bro. Now, y'all remember this, right? Malik Willis, first 3 games, 6 of 10, 55 yards, 5 of 16, 80 yards, 16 of 25, 135 yards, 0 touchdowns. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. But this is who she wants to be the quarterback.
Monken 100% can handle him. In fact, prefers that type of quarterback. So I would think that they would make a pitch for him. But once again, I have heard that, I don't know, there is some sentiment for him landing in Miami where the Dolphins are moving on from Tua. So we'll see how it goes, but I would for sure toss my hat into that ring.
So just so everyone knows, we lost Ashley. We're trying to get her back on here. She had some Wi-Fi issues, but we lost her as we started this conversation. So we're not ignoring Ashley. If we don't go to her here, we're trying to get her back on, and hopefully we'll get her back into this discussion here. But so I'm very fascinated by Malik Willis. I think of all the Browns options out there, and we're going to talk about a couple of their other options that might materialize here over the next month.
Games that he played with Green Bay. But I also think that in a year where there's not going to be a lot of these guys available, I only caught the
hey, come in and compete situation, or we're going to trade for a guy like Kenny Pickett who has,
I'm sure, took this job knowing that he was going to have a chance to get it right at quarterback. I'm sure that was a huge part of those interviews and those discussions. And I'm sure he basically said, I have to have a quarterback. I have to be part of it. You have to give me what I need, or this isn't going to work. So he's going to dive into this. He's going to investigate it. He's going to do his own scouting on this. And if he likes what he sees in the room, fine. If not, they will have to try for a Malik Willis or someone like that. And out of all the guys that I think are available, you're right, Dan, he's the one that fits best
bro.
Line between being aggressive and forcing something that's not there. And I don't think that
they are either going to draft a quarterback that we just don't know yet what they're thinking.
Draft the quarterback.
I would be somewhat intrigued by that one, but Andrew Berry also did say,
hold on. Did she just say draft? What did I just tell y'all, bruh?
The last time we talked to him in the sidebar interview after Todd Monken's introductory press conference, he basically said, we're not going to be going out and signing a lot of older guys. So I think we need to keep that in mind. I don't really think they're going to do that. They already have someone in that almost age bracket, in the 30-something age bracket, and that is Deshaun Watson. So if Deshaun is completely healthy, I think he would be more so their sort of older veteran guy that they would be seeing what he has left in the tank. I think if they are going to go outside of the building, they are either going to draft a quarterback that we just don't know yet what they're thinking, or find somebody in the Malik Willis age group. So that's kind of what I think that they would do, more so than going after a Derek Carr or a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and I think, to that point, I don't want to say there isn't an urgency to win, because I think there is an urgency to win, but there's not like an urgency to go win the AFC next year. You know what I mean? Like, they want to get better and they want to win football games, but they're still like, they still understand that they're building here. They still understand that they're, that they're where they are in this process. And as Andrew Berry always says, that life cycle of the roster. And I think part of that is like, does it do you any good to find out if 35-year-old Derek Carr can still play? Or are you better off finding out if Malik Willis or Shedeur Sanders or even Deshaun Watson can still play? And I'm always torn on Derek Carr, because whenever I've watched Derek Carr, I'm like, oh, this guy's good. And when Kevin was here, there was a time when I thought, man, Derek Carr would be a really good fit football today. So that's, of course, his quarterback's coach. So again, we keep coming back to this idea of, look, if Deshaun is on this roster and he can play, you can't hide the guy forever. You can't just tell him to go hang out in the field house by himself or go sit in the meeting room or something like that. He's going to be out there in some form, whether he's competing for the job or he's just kind of out there participating, whatever it is, he's going to be a part of this. And if he looks anything like what we've seen Deshaun Watson look at times in practice, depending on what else they do at quarterback, that's when Todd Monken might say, you know what, I want to see what this guy still has left. So again, if he's around, if he's throwing, if he's practicing, I just don't think you can ever rule him out, no matter how unpopular that would be.
No, you can't. And Todd Monken, we now know, he has stated that he's intrigued by Deshaun Watson. He has also said that he wants to tap back into a player who was once elite and a 3-time Pro Bowler. And who wouldn't want that? He could be sitting on a gold mine right there in his own quarterback room, or he could be having somebody in his quarterback room that is a nice mentor for the rookies and just doesn't have it anymore. We don't really know. He's looked good in practice. We know that.
Sean was good at, and like,
this whole situation was just crazy work, man. I don't know, but as y'all just heard there from that audio, they're continuing to push this agenda that Deshaun Watson is going to be the guy. Now, for whatever reason, they do not want Shedeur Sanders to be their quarterback. I don't know, man, but I hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day. Be sure to tune into the videos. I will be dropping content all this week long. Be sure to like the video, hype the video. And y'all already know, man, hold your wrist up. Until next time, dog, shake the haters off.